from the skyline, and we are getting reports that surface-to-air defense systems were used off in the distance as the Ukrainians appear to be trying to take down a Russian jet that conducted this airstrike. This is all preliminary information, but early reports indicate this Russian airstrike targeted a radar communications military center just southeast of the city. This is significant as the day has been quite calm. There were civilians in the streets of the Ukrainian capital. They were gathering supplies. They came up from underground where they spent the night in bomb shelters. The city is about to go back into curfew at this hour. Right now, there are concerns that the Russians are looking to surround the capital of Kyiv. U.S. defense officials warning of that earlier today. You mentioned those peace talks that took place today between the Ukrainians and the Russians along the border with Belarus. This followed a phone call yesterday between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. Now, it also follows a call between the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and the French president, Emmanuel Macron. And I think this call really gives you some information that is critical when we talk about the possibility of peace in this conflict. Early reports, according to the French, indicate that Vladimir Putin wants multiple things from the Ukrainians in order to stop his invasion into this country. Two of those agenda items have to do with demilitarization of Ukraine and also recognizing an area of land called Crimea that was annexed in 2014. Two things that are likely not to happen here in Ukraine. Back to you.
Trey, thank you very much. And, you know, that video just reminds us of how many places civilians are in harm's way and all of this. Kaylee, I want to talk with you first about this idea of Russia targeting civilians and how much pressure they're willing to put on away from military targets. It is heartbreaking.
It's grotesque. I mean, children, we know that schools have been hit. Civilians are being targeted contrary to what we are being told. And I wonder, you know, General Kellogg would know better than I on this. I do wonder the reaction of Russian forces because apparently, you know, Russia is being told we're not in war. Putin's saying that this is denazification is his word. He's saying we're not at war, but apparently these Russian soldiers are going in. Some of them thinking that they're going to be welcomed as liberators, like the Ukrainians want this, and they're shocked when they're experiencing not open arms but fierce resistance as the Ukrainian people, innocent people, are being targeted, including their children. And I just wonder how long this will hold up, because I'm not even sure some of the Russian troops will stand for this. Do they want to be at The Hague? Do they want to be accused of war crimes when this is all over? Because indeed they will.
Well, when I talked with Ambassador Taylor last hour, he said the world actually has the appetite to see that through. Like, that's not just a hollow threat for Putin. That's his reality. This could be the end of everything for him when they start to pursue him. I do want to ask this as we're looking at these pictures, and you know, you mentioned General Kellogg, so let's pull him in.
Yeah, so you know, this is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 16. It says, cut off the sword from Babylon, right? Right, and Babylon is dealing with America, Babylon the Great, but like Apostle Tahar said, these are all Edomites, even you know, right. Look at this. I didn't even notice that. The thing said David and Goliath, right? Trying to make for biblical reference, and that's not David and Goliath. You know what I mean? Because this guy who's the president of Ukraine is going to lose to Russia, which is Vladimir Putin. But it says cut off the sword from Babylon, right, which is actually America. But when you go into, like Apostle Hart said, that these are Edomites, so they all have to rise up, you know, because what they know that they got but a short time. And you know, like I was saying before, you know, dealing with the elite, the so-called square men, you know, the Illuminati, these things coincide with their, this is one big charade. And my thought is, somewhere along the line, the MOTB has to come into play. So this could be a way to scatter people and implement the MOTB. But it says cut off the sower, right, from Babylon, but also what's happening now in the Ukraine. Ukraine is one of the top growers in wheat. So if they're out there battling, fighting Russia, basically what are you doing? You're cutting off the sower. You're cutting off the ones who grow the food that you eat, right? And him that handled the sickle, right, dealing with the farmers, right, and America's doing it to themselves, right? Basically causing a self-inflicted famine, but it's going to be to the detriment. Sickle in the time of harvest, and the harvest is what? You Israelites, you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian of Indian and Negro descent, and you Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel around the world, who has come back to the fold, right? Because the harvest is for you, for fear of the oppressor from the oppressing sword, right? Because what? The foot of the bear, of the foot of the beast is the foot of a bear, and the end of Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob the beginning of it that followeth. The end of Esau altogether, it will be Gog and Magog, which is Russia, right? Because it goes that in Revelation, how they still gonna come against Israel, which is Gog and Magog, right? Which we know as Russia, even after Babylon is defeated, right? So it says for fear of the oppressing sword, which is Esau, Edom, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. And what's happening right now in Ukraine? A lot of the Ukrainians who were in other places, because it's their duty as Ukrainians, or however you say it, is to go back and fight as a man for their homeland. They're true patriots, right? Yeah, so this Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, right? And that leopard goes back to what? Alexander the Greek, right? Right? Whose father is Philip from Macedon, which actually goes back to the Agagites, right? Which are Edomites. So that's how you know that Alexander the Greek are Edomites. So that's the beginning of the Edomites, which is this leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, which is going to be what they call Russia today, which is Gog and Magog, right? Which is the end of Esau, right? The top part of a man is his head, and the bottom, the end of him, is his feet, right? So the beginning of Esau was, Alexander the Great, what they call great, and in the end it will be what Russia, the bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon, right, was going to the Roman Empire, gave him his power and his seat and great authority, right? Because when you, like I was saying about dealing with this whole thing with the, them playing, this is them with the, them being part of the shadow government and all this. Most of these things are charades. They do a little bit of real fighting here and there because they disagree on this and how this goes, but mostly they're in cahoots and they're together on keeping the Israelites in subjection and under um, basically under them, because at any point in time any of these people could have came out and let us know that we were the actual Israelites. But this thing is to further continue that we're not the Israelites. They have to rule over us because they're talking about this injustice and this injustice, but they're both wrong, right? They're Edomites at the end of the day, right? And if Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow, neither of them want that to happen. So, matter of fact, let's go into that. Say yeah. So this is Second Esdras chapter Second Esdras chapter 6. I'm gonna go 8. Second Esdras chapter 6 verse 8. And he said unto me, which is the angel, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, right, which is Isaac, Jacob, your Yaquab, right? Because we know the letter J is only 400 to 500 years old, so that's made up, right? His hand held fast the hill of Esau, right? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of a man, right, is betwixt the hill and the hand. Other questions Esdras asked us not, right? So basically, they're being tripped up. I mean, even through the whole part of they thought we were never going to learn and know who we are. They're tripped up. They're baffled. They're confounded, right? They didn't think we were going to figure this thing out. That the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai wasn't going to arise and raise up a standard, but it has, and it is, and it's doing its work. Yeah. So this is second Ezra. No, Salakia. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. And I will make a man more precious, which is an Israelite man, which really is more going to deal with the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, which means armies, and in the day of his fierce angers, right? We're dealing with the ICBM missiles, which Vladimir Putin just put it on high alert for nuclear missiles, right? It says and I mean, it's not World War III. It's not the end of the world yet, but you haven't seen that. That's that Cold War mentality, because you haven't seen this thing be on nuclear alert in quite some time, which about 40 years or so. It's been a long time, but it's that time, so-called, I mean, there's been wars and things, but it hasn't been that nuclear threat or whatever, or because back then I think it was atomic, but now they have nukes. So now it hasn't been nor atomic nor nuclear threat until now, right? So 40 years, you got to think Solomon ruled about 40 years and there was peace. Matter of fact, the elders was going over about how one of the Edomites ruled for about 40 years or so, right? I'm gonna have to go back and find out which Edomite it was, but it was an Edomite. When he ruled, it was one of the, oh, dang, I wish I could remember. But yeah, because I'm supposed to, but yeah. So these things, when it deals with this 40-year period, somewhere the Lord, that 40-year period, that's it. So we're basically coming up on that time where this is pretty much over with. You know what I mean? So now we're back onto that high alert, because the Lord said what? He's gonna pull hooks in Gog and Magog's jaws, which will be that bear that we know of today, right? It says and it shall be as the chase row, right? Because all those people are running this and that, and what do you do with a roe? Roe is like a deer or some type of livestock. Basically, you hunt, right? So it's like saying you're chasing it it's gonna get hunted down. It's gonna get chased down, right, and killed. So most of those people are running. They're afraid they're gonna die. This, and that, and well, Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. So it's starting to pursue them. Matter of fact, when it says It says Isaiah chapter 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moving for thee to meet thee. Yeah, beneath is moving. Yeah, hell for beneath. Yeah, hell beneath is moved for thee. Yep, for Esau, it's moving for thee to meet thee. And hell is what? The grave, destruction, slavery, right? Thee at thy coming, it stirreth up, right? And that's what's happening right now. The dead for thee, right? Because how many Israelites have they killed? How many other nations and things have they killed to destroy, to make to make their so-called empire? From what? From Alexander all the way into what? The foot of that bear, right? You know what I mean? So that's the thing that's happening right now. It says stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, right? It have risen up from their thrones, all the kings of the nations, right? All these different nations that they done killed and basically took over so they could, from Alexander until now, so that they could have their so-called rulerships, all they shall speak and say unto thee, or thus also become weak as weak, right? You're going to be destroyed just like all the other ancient civilizations that were destroyed before you. But somehow you're trying to hold on. Even Russia making this movement towards Ukraine is a movement to have a strategic battlefield, hoping that he don't go down either. You know what I mean? Because the whole thing about an Edomite is he'll kill other Edomites trying to save his own life, trying to save himself. And this is the time, right? Because like what Apostle Hart said about how this whole thing is, look what's happening. When he say Revelation 12 and 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, right? So you Israelites around the world, it's time for us to rejoice, because what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and we know this, right? And ye that dwell in them, right? Because we're in them, we're in the midst of these heathens, man. We're in the land of these heathens, but these heathens, they're shook. They about to kill each other, trying to survive, trying not to go into slavery. But there's nothing really they could do. Everything that they're doing, they're actually furthering their enslavement. Like if they would have just chilled and just let it happen, maybe they might have a couple more years or so. But the whole thing about like what they say, like being in a hole in a ditch, and you climb, and actually you're making the hole bigger, scratching and crawling out of it. You know what I mean? Like being in quicksand. They say if you move, you sink faster, and that's really what they're doing. Hell is coming up to meet them, man. Their death, their destruction, and their slavery is coming to meet them, man. So it says, Salakia, where was I at? I'll just redo it. It says, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, which means destruction, to the inhabitants, what? Of the earth, right? Because the Israelites are scattered where? Around the whole entire earth, right? And of the sea, right? Which is dealing with people. For the devil, which is Esau, Edom, which is the accuser of the brethren, right? Is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's Putin. He's an Edomite. He know he got but a short time. All the Edomites know that they got but a short time. Right? Because what? The prophets, what? Is out there, man. It says, Psalms 19:1, the heavens declareth the glory of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge, and there is no speech nor language where their voices is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their word to the end of the world. And where's America? At the hindermost part of the world. And where's Russia? At the uttermost part of the world. And these, the hinder and the uttermost parts of the world, are eventually going to go to war, and they're going to shoot nukes at each other. And then Gog and Magog is going to come against basically Yahushai, and the rest of the what's ever left of these nations after World War III is going to go against Yahushai, and they're going to get destroyed. And that's the thing that's coming, man. Matter of fact, let's see, because matter of fact, let's do this one first, because no, I don't gotta go in no specific order. Shit. Let's just do it like how I was doing it, because you know. It says Revelation chapter 20 verse 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan, which means, yeah, so Satan, which is your adversary. So it says Revelation chapter 20 verse 7, and when the 1,000 years were expired, Satan, which is Esau, Edom, which is our enemy, adversary, those that oppose us, come against us, dealing with the Edomites, because the Edomites is our natural enemy from the womb of Rebecca. So that's our natural adversary. I mean, these other nations are our adversaries too, but our natural adversary right off the back is Esau, Edom. He is Satan to us, our adversary. Shall be loosed out of his prison, right? And that goes into the time period where we was ruling Europe, right? Because I hate a lot of you Israelites never really speak about how we rule Europe, and that's important because the Africa, I get tired of that, because that's their whole little thing is Africa. Then you gotta think of the whole thing of like I would listen to the thing with Deacon and the white people. Oh, you guys are African, and no, there's no way that we can Well, what about the Israelites that were slaved under Babylonian captivity? Babylonians are dark, and that thing was thousands of years ago. You can't tell me that there wasn't any Israelites left under the Babylonian captivity, that all of Israel left there. Well, what about under the Egyptians, which is dark-skinned people? All the Israelites didn't leave Egypt. What about the Assyrians? Even when the northern kingdom left from there and came over, all the northern kingdom didn't leave, which those were dark-skinned people. So to keep coming up with this nonsense that you're just painting this thing and you have no idea and you don't know history, and then a lot of you don't even correct these people, you have no idea what you're talking about. But going into your adversary, Satan, shall be loosed from his prison and shall go out to deceive, right, the nations, right? And you too think, so you don't know you're Israelite, which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, right, which is part of the Edomites, to gather them together to battle, right, coming to the end of the world, the number of whom is as the sands of the sea, and they went up upon the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints, right? So they're gonna come against that's Gog and Magog, which is the end of the world, which is the foot of the bear, which is gonna be the end of the world, which is Esau, coming against the Israelite, coming against the saints. The camp come to and compass the camp of the saints, which are the Israelites, about the beloved city, which is Jerusalem, which were a people before a place. The city of peace, where a people before a place. And fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them, right? And all the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented, right, into slavery day and night forever and ever, right? You going into utter poverty and slavery forever and ever, because what? The Lord is taking them out of that says Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 3, and say thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, right? That's why he just said he put it on high alert and put the nukes in nuclear. It's on nuclear alert, right? So now you're back in that USSR Cold War mentality, right? Putting the nukes on on high alert. Put hooks in your jaws. Yeah. The Lord turns you back. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with shield and buckler I mean, yeah, with company with bucklers and shields, Shalakia, and all them handling swords, Persia, which is Iran now, Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them, right? And that's another thing you got to look out for too, because right now, this thing is just only about Ukraine. This ain't even got Iran in the mix of this right now, which is Persia. So the Persians haven't came over, which is Iran, and helped them in the fight yet. So people are all tripping out about this. Now, if you see that happen, then yeah, we're looking closer to something happening. So, I mean, Iran haven't said, yeah, look, I got you. I'm going to back you. And I got nukes ready. I put my nukes on high alert. Now, you start seeing that, hey, you going to be, we talking about something. Then we're really into that third world war, right? But this ain't World War III right now yet. Okay? This is just him trying to get his providence back, which is going to benefit him as far as strategically, as far as trying to keep, you know, ground. Because basically, if you see what they're trying to do is, I think he know that they're trying to basically treat him like Hitler. Like they basically set Hitler up and made Hitler be the fall guy, right? And maybe they might be doing the same thing to him, setting him up to be like the fall guy. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm thinking. Because where's it at? And the Lord said, because they were just talking about putting him up on war crimes. See, but this is something that the Edomites always do. They'll set another one up. It says, thus saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, right? Because this is, like I said, this is a charade. This whole thing is for the MOTB. If you know what that means, you know what it means, right? This is for the MOTB. And so it's a charade for that. But I'm thinking they want to play this guy for the fool and have him either get killed or murdered or something, or they were talking about put him up for war crimes, let him be the fall guy, so they could push in the New World Order, so they could make him look like the bad guy. But what I think he's gonna know that, or something's gonna happen. It's just I'm thinking as a man, and I'm thinking because somewhere the Lord's gonna put an evil thought in his mind, because that's what it says. It says right here. And it shall come to pass at that same time shall things come into thy mind, right? Which is his head, lob, his mind, his thoughts. And thus shall think an evil thought. And thus shalt say, I will go unto the land of unwalled villages, right? Dealing with America. I will go to them which are at rest, right? Which is also the Israelites, because like I said, in the end it said they should come against the saints. So it's talking about the Israelites, but also they're going to go against America that are at rest, that dwell safely. That's really actually talking about Israel. Right? But yeah, but America's like that place too. You know, it's got unwalled villages, technically. You know what I mean? Rest, dwell safely. All of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates to take a spoil, to take a prey, to turn thence hand upon the desolate places that are now, right? Yeah, right. Which is going to be America. America's going to be a desolate place. But yeah, they're going to come against the Israelites too, because that's ultimately what that part's talking about. When Gog and Magog, but it's definitely going to be an evil thought in his mind against this New World Order type thing, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so yeah, call Loyum Yahweh Bashim Shai Basham Rakal Kodash. Right. So yeah, that's definitely, that's that part's going into them coming against Israel at the end of that. But definitely, like I said, they're gonna go against America too, right? Because the Lord said that He was gonna set them, the North Country. He's gonna stir up the Meeks, right? Going into Isaiah 13 against Babylon, which is talking about America. So yeah, call Loyum Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai Basham Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Salutations to the Akim and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To the sister and the Akwaf listening in silence and have come back to the fold. Shalom. Yeah, and death to America.